I'm 69 years old, and what I'm about to share with you will probably make you uncomfortable, maybe even angry. But I don't care anymore because staying quiet about this feels like watching someone walk toward a cliff. For 42 years I lived a certain way, I believed certain things, I made choices that seemed smart at the time. And then one afternoon everything changed. Not gradually, not slowly. In one single moment, my entire understanding of life flipped upside down. What happened to me at 27 shaped the next 4 decades of my existence, and what I finally understood at 69 has made these recent years the most alive I've ever felt. Strange, isn't it, that you can feel most alive when you have the least time left? But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me take you back to where this all started. I was 27 years old, married for 3 years, had a decent job at an accounting firm. We'd just bought our first house. On paper, everything looked perfect. My wife Sarah was 6 months pregnant with our first child. We were excited, nervous, making plans. Then one Tuesday morning she said she felt weird, dizzy. Something wasn't right. I told her it was probably normal pregnancy stuff, told her to rest, told her we'd call the doctor if it got worse. 3 hours later she collapsed in our kitchen. I found her on the floor, called 911, rode in the ambulance holding her hand. The doctors worked for 2 hours trying to save our baby. They couldn't. Sarah survived. Our daughter didn't. We named her Emma, even though she never took a breath. And just like that, my whole world shattered. Now, you might be wondering why I'm telling you this. It's not for sympathy. That was 42 years ago. I'm telling you because of what I did next, the choices I made in my grief, and how those choices nearly destroyed everything good in my life. After we lost Emma, I made a decision. I didn't say it out loud, but I felt it deep in my bones. I decided that feelings were dangerous, that caring too much led to pain, that the solution was to focus on things I could control: work, money, achievement. If I just worked hard enough, built enough, saved enough, then somehow I could protect myself from ever feeling that kind of pain again. So that's what I did. I threw myself into my career, worked late every night, took every opportunity for overtime, volunteered for the difficult projects nobody else wanted. Within 5 years I was promoted to senior accountant. Within 10 years I was running my own small firm. My income tripled, then tripled again. We bought a bigger house, nicer cars, took respectable vacations. From the outside I looked successful, driven, together. But here's what nobody saw. Sarah and I barely talked anymore. Not about anything real. We had 2 more children, both boys. I loved them, but I was never really there. I was at their birthday parties but thinking about work, at their school plays but checking my watch, home for dinner but mentally reviewing spreadsheets. I told myself I was providing for them, being responsible, doing what fathers should do. But really I was hiding from feeling, hiding from connection, hiding from the possibility of loss. Because if I didn't let myself care too deeply, then I couldn't be hurt again. This went on for decades. My sons grew up, went to college, started their own lives. My relationship with Sarah became polite, functional, empty. I had money in the bank, respect in my community, a reputation as a hard-working man, and I was completely hollow inside. Then came my 69th birthday. Sarah threw a small party, just family, our 2 sons and their wives, 4 grandchildren. Everyone was there being nice, eating cake, making conversation, and I looked around that room and suddenly saw the truth. My sons were being polite with me, not warm, not close, just polite. They asked surface questions, gave surface answers. My grandchildren barely knew me. I was just the old guy who showed up occasionally. Even Sarah, she was kind, but distant, like we were roommates, not partners. And I realized something that hit me like a punch to the chest. I had spent 42 years building walls to protect myself from pain, and those walls had worked. I wasn't in pain, but I also wasn't really living. I had a family, but no real relationships. I had success, but no joy. I had survived, but I hadn't actually lived. That night, after everyone left, I sat in my office and cried for the first time in decades. Not just about Emma, though. I cried for her too, but for all the years I'd wasted, for the connection I'd refused to allow, for the love I'd been too afraid to fully give, for the life I could have had if I hadn't spent 4 decades running from my own heart. Here's what nobody tells you when you're young. Pain is not the enemy, numbness is. I spent 42 years trying to avoid pain, and you know what I got instead? Nothing, not happiness, not peace, just nothing. A blank, neutral existence where I went through motions but never really felt alive. You think protecting yourself from hurt is smart. It's not, because the same walls that keep out pain also keep out everything else: joy, connection, love, meaning. You can't selectively numb yourself. You can't block the bad feelings without also blocking the good ones. I learned this too late. After that birthday, something shifted in me. I realized I probably had maybe 10 years left if I'm lucky, maybe 15, maybe less. And I decided I wasn't going to waste whatever time remained living behind walls. So I started doing something. I started being honest. I called my older son David and asked if we could have coffee, just the two of us. When we sat down, I looked at him and said the truth. I know I wasn't really present when you were growing up. I was there physically but not emotionally. And I'm sorry. I want to know you now if you'll let me. He didn't say anything for a long moment. Then his eyes got wet. I've been waiting my whole life to hear you say something like that. That conversation was the beginning. Over the next few months I had similar talks with my younger son, with Sarah, with old friends I'd pushed away. Some of those conversations were awkward. Some were painful, but they were real. And real was something I hadn't experienced in 4 decades. I'm not going to tell you everything magically fixed itself, because it didn't. You can't rebuild relationships overnight that you neglected for years. But things started to change. David and I started meeting for coffee every week. We talked about real things. His struggles with his marriage, my regrets about how I'd lived. My younger son Marcus was harder to reach. He'd built his own walls. But slowly we started connecting too. Sarah and I went to counseling, started actually talking again. It was uncomfortable at first. 40 years of distance doesn't disappear quickly, but we're trying, really trying. And my grandchildren. I started showing up differently, not just at birthday parties but on random Tuesdays. Not with expensive gifts but with attention. I ask them questions and actually listen to the answers. I tell them stories about when their dads were young. I'm learning who they are as people. These last few months have been harder than any year of my career. Opening yourself up after decades of being closed is terrifying, but they've also been the most meaningful time of my life. Let me tell you what I wish someone had told me at 27. Loss is part of life. You can't avoid it. Everyone you love will either leave you or you'll leave them. That's just how time works. And yes, that's painful to think about, but running from that truth doesn't protect you. It just means you waste the time you do have. I lost Emma. That was real and horrible and unfair. But I didn't have to lose the next 42 years too. I could have grieved. I could have felt that pain. I could have let Sarah comfort me, and I could have comforted her. We could have cried together, healed together, stayed connected through the hurt. Instead, I chose to freeze, to shut down, to build walls. And those walls cost me decades. Don't do what I did. Don't trade feeling for safety. Don't sacrifice connection for control. Don't spend your one life trying to avoid being hurt. I see so many people making the same mistake I made. They're working themselves to death trying to achieve some imaginary finish line. They're keeping people at arm's length because getting close feels risky. They're postponing real living until some future moment when things will be easier or safer or more certain. That moment doesn't exist. Life is happening now. While you're waiting, while you're planning, while you're protecting yourself. Your parents are getting older every single day. Your kids, if you have them, are growing up whether you're paying attention or not. The people you love won't be around forever, and neither will you. So what are you waiting for? What are you protecting yourself from that's worth missing your own life? I'm 69 years old now. If I'm being honest, I probably don't have many years left, and I'm okay with that. Because these recent months living with an open heart, connecting with my family, feeling things again, have been worth more than all those years of hollow success. I'd trade all the money I made, all the respect I earned, all the achievements I accumulated for more time being present with the people I love. But I can't make that trade. Time only moves forward. All I can do is use whatever time remains differently than I used the time before, and hope that maybe sharing this helps someone else avoid wasting 42 years like I did. You have a choice right now. Keep living behind walls, keep protecting yourself, keep postponing real connection until some safer moment. Or take the risk, open up, be honest, get hurt sometimes, but also actually live. I can't make this choice for you, but I can tell you that at the end of your life, you won't regret the times you were vulnerable. You'll regret the times you weren't. You won't regret the love you gave. You'll regret the love you withheld. You won't regret the connections you made. You'll regret the walls you built. Don't be 69 years old looking back wishing you'd lived differently. Don't waste 42 years learning what I could tell you right now. Life is short, people leave, time runs out. So stop protecting yourself from living and start actually living before it's too late. The clock is ticking for all of us. What are you going to do with your time?